listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Inside Real Estate. I am here with Mr. Brad Weisgerber. Paul unfortunately couldn't make it today, so I'm going to be the host. Definitely, obviously not as smooth as he is, but we'll get through it, right, Brad?
Yep. Don't like to hear yourself talk as much as he does.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite the, yeah. How are you doing today, man? Everything good?
Good, man. Busy, but
good.
Good.
Yeah, I know. It's a little crazy right now. It's definitely a weird summer, especially, with a lot of news coming up about, COVID and all that, but we'll touch on all that later. Today we got a good guest on the show. Awesome guy. Met him a few times. His name is Willie J. Davis. He is an agent in multiple states. He, hangs his license here with ReMax Eclipse, and down in Georgia actually does a lot of business in Atlanta with Perks by Perk. So I know we bring Willie on the show and go from there. How are you, man?
It is.
Hey guys, good morning. How are you today?
I am good. I'm
I like
good,
the
man.
stand-up energy.
I know, dude.
Makes me feel like a bum.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there's a lot of sitting that I do, when you got your computer in the car and everything. And I was like, I don't get a chance to stand up and work as much. So
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you, if I had a smile on my face as big as yours, even, for a minute a day, I think I'd probably, probably a lot more friends. So that's good to hear, man. How's everything going for you?
It's actually going pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. How are you guys today?
Can't complain. I would say, this is about the best weather we've had all summer. So
Yeah, I could complain just because we got too much work to do to be able to enjoy the weather. I wish I was a teacher or something where I get the summers off. It's beautiful outside.
Well, in real estate, you kind of get the winters off. So,
Yeah. Kind of. It's
sort of.
It's weird. Yeah, I would say, oddly, this past winter, was one of December was one of our biggest months that we've had. And obviously, with, mortgage, it's not just purchase. You get to do the refis, which aren't usually as intensive, question wise and deadlines or the stress. But still, when you're busy, right? So we'll take that win, while it lasts, because, as soon as rates go up, a lot of those refis are going to go away. So I think what's interesting and what's kind of cool about what you do, right? You have multiple states. So winter in Michigan, is probably a little slower than what I would say winter in, let's say, Atlanta is. I know it cools down a little bit there, but it's not like, snow plows going down the street maybe once every few years, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. And I'm in Atlanta right now, and you guys talk about the good weather you're having.
That's why you're smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a little uncomfortably warm. It's about 90 to 95 degrees with 100% humidity. So we're well into winter, or summer, excuse me. But I'll be back in Michigan in a couple of weeks to kind of cool down. So
yeah.
Don't bring that humidity with you. That's gross.
Yeah. I'm going to the lake, so that'll be fine.
There you go. Which lake?
Always go to Lake St. Clair with some buddies.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Can't beat that. I will say. Look, Chauncey Perkins says hello.
Oh, hey, hello.
But yeah, man. So
that's actually my broker here in
really?
Atlanta. Yeah, Chauncey. Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. I like his profile picture, man.
I know that profile picture is awesome.
So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started, maybe what you did prior to real estate and what got you into it?
Yeah. Before real estate, I got into real estate early 2017. And before that, I had a whole career. My undergrad is in mass communication. So I did a lot of marketing and communications work for the automotive industry, publications, technology companies, retail. Had a small stint in LA about 8 years ago. So my most recent corporate America job, if you will, I was marketing manager for Auto Week magazine down in downtown Detroit. That was a lot of fun. And it was kind of in that role where the idea of working for myself came, and I enjoyed my job, and it wasn't anything about the job specifically, but it was just waking up at 6 a.m. to punch in somewhere at 8 a.m. to clock out at 5 to sit in traffic for an hour, and that whole routine. And I knew I didn't want to do that for the next 5, 10 plus years. So I started looking into real estate, and actually I wanted to get into investment real estate. But once I got my license, which I thought I was getting it to have in my back pocket, but once I got it, I started working with buyers and sellers, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed negotiating and everything. And if everyone remembers what negotiating a contract is like, you know,
not too much these days.
I know. So, but it was just so much fun, and you know, you're meeting so many people, and after the first couple of years of getting into real estate or being in real estate, you know, once you stop chasing every single lead or every buyer, seller, and all these things, and you kind of focus on what you want your business to look like and be like, you know, it actually got a little more fun because I was really building something that I wanted to be and wanted to look like, and I could put my name on it. So
yeah,
that's where we are today.
Did you start here in Michigan?
I did. I've been licensed in Michigan from the beginning. I've been with ReMax Eclipse since day one. Still with them. I still have active listings in Michigan and work with some buyers or, you know, sellers mostly. But I have some fantastic referral agents that I work with in Michigan, you know, for some of my buyers. And earlier this year, I was able to get, you know, a reciprocal license here in Georgia. And after many years of loving and growing more and more in love with this area, I decided to, you know, take on a challenge and relocate.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's cool about our business, right? Like, you don't really have to apply. You don't got to get a job. You know what I mean? You can move anywhere you want in the country. You just got to hustle and use whatever it is that you've learned along the way to make it happen. Right. So
absolutely.
I think when anyone gets in this business, right, or maybe even before, they maybe have a vision of what it looks like, right, and what it's going to be like. And as you go through things, right, you progress, and that vision might change to, I'm not doing this anymore, right? Or it could be, I got this big team, or, you know, I'm going to be licensed in a couple places I like to live. I mean, it's really cool that you can make it what you want it to be, but at the same time, you know, use all the fundamentals and things you learned along the way, because, you know, there's no like necessary, I mean, there's training obviously, right? But it's not like you go to like a 5-year real estate school and get an idea of what it's going to be like before you even start, right? There's no like residency like a nurse or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So, no, and even when you're in your real estate course, it's nothing, even in that, you know, in Michigan, it's 40 hours. It's nothing like it is when you are actually out there. And probably the same for mortgages.
If I give you a referral, like you can't give me money, right? Like, I mean, that's like, you know, what you're learning, and obviously those are important things. You know, you got to follow the laws and the rules, but like, once you're out there, it's like, there you go, you're licensed to kill, right? But beware, you know, there's a lot of killers out there taking every single piece of prey that you can. Not that, you know, our clients are prey, but just an analogy. But you know, you got to. You gotta grind though and hustle. So what was it like that transition? Obviously going up from a place where I'm sure, you know, it's a competitive market space in the digital marketing and ad agency for automotive, but at the same time, like now it's, hey, there's no managers, there's nothing. Like, what was that like for you to just kind of grind?
Yeah, because I had the 11 years of corporate America as, you know, it's kind of motivation or really kind of pushing me. When I started in real estate, I started with the discipline of a structured schedule. But it didn't take long to realize I could, you know, change, you know, the sides of my box, and I didn't have to sit in this little box and everything, and realize I could make my days and weeks and years, if you will, look the way I wanted them to look with enough hard work in certain places. So, but once I started full time in real estate, I had fantastic brokers, Nick Panozzi and Ryan Kelly with ReMax Eclipse. Even Levin Wood too. When I became full time, I told him, I said, okay, I just got laid off from my job, and I was like, I'm all yours. And I knew I had no choice, because the severance was going to run out eventually. And the various things that coddled me, if you will, in corporate America. So I knew I had to figure it out. And it didn't really take long to figure out the first step. But, in real estate, the first step doesn't look like the second step and doesn't look like the third step. And you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And eventually, and at some point, it'll all kind of come together.
Yeah, so, I think like, to a good point, you just named some great names in real estate locally here, right? Like,
yes,
and it's just like anything, right? Like you kind of, who you hang out with, like kind of dictates who you are, right? And like,
yes,
to a degree. So with that being said, like surrounding yourself with people who know what they're doing, people who can help you take that next step, people you can look to for advice, people who you can brainstorm with. I mean, these are the things I think that, really propel you. And, in my head, I think like on my end, like I do all this with my mortgages or whatever, but like really it's a springboard off of everyone that I've surrounded myself with. Right. And it's just something that, over time, I feel like you pick up pieces from people around you and use them and just kind of keep sharpening your stick per se, right? So
absolutely. And I know I'm as successful as I am today because of the people I have surrounded myself with, and even my broker here, Chauncey, him and I, as we met over the recent year and whatnot, I knew he was somebody I wanted to connect with as well because of the goals that I have moving forward and with growing my business here, but also doing real estate different, a little different. It's more than just opening the doors for a client and showing them where the living room is and the kitchen is and telling what the square footage of the house is, or all of these different things. It's, it's creating a lifestyle for somebody. And one of the fortunate things I've been able to provide a lot of clients over my first years in real estate, there have been a lot of clients who have come to me that have gotten a no from whether it be other lenders or other real estate agents for whatever reason. And I've been able to provide them that first yes that they've ever received during that process. So in that, I recognize a responsibility that I have within the real estate transaction. And I've been able to see that, like I said, with the people that I surround myself with.
How different is real estate, the market, I should say, down in Georgia than it is in Michigan, being, immersed in both at the same time?
Yeah. Well, some of the similarities to begin with, I mean, they're both hot sellers markets, and that year over year rate of increase of prices and everything, they're both very similar and everything. The unique thing about Atlanta is there's a lot of businesses and companies bringing people in from all over the country. I'm working with a buyer right now who moved here last summer from the Northeast for tech, and VC job. You have Microsoft building another office here too, and they're doing a lot of recruiting for women and minority employees or whatnot. So there's a lot of companies that are, whether they're existing or coming to Atlanta, they're really pulling they're really pulling a lot of people from around the country to this area. Whereas in Detroit, we have our big names there. And one of the things about Detroit too is, we have a lot of people working downtown, and then before the pandemic, a lot of people went to work from home. So now that downtown market, is looking a little different than what it was, previous years and everything. So the biggest differentiator, if you will, like I said, between the two markets is what's bringing the employees, which in turn become home buyers.
Right.
And it's great to see a lot of minorities here be in a position to be able to purchase a home, whether it be for the first time or their second home, or just increase that percent of minorities who are homeowners.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, traditionally that's the segment of leased home ownership, right? So
Yes.
I think that the pandemic in ways has reshaped a lot of things culturally too, where people can move and work where they want to work, or potentially still live where they live and work in Detroit, quote unquote, right, via Zoom or whatever, working for the auto industry and whatnot. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting that this pandemic, while everyone in the back of their head thinks it's over, right? Like, I mean, I didn't really, I just heard Delta variant, and was kind of in my head like, whatever, dude. Like, I got my shot. Like, it is what it is. Like, I can't. But I mean, I guess it's really blowing up.
It is. Well, even the CDC yesterday released new guidelines for masks, and I live only about 10 minutes from the CDC.
Oh,
so
really?
here,
So based in Atlanta.
Oh, it's based in Atlanta, yeah. So we hear it here, not hear it here first, but we kind of feel it here first because it's this big building. We're like, okay, what are they doing in there? What's happening? So yeah, like you said, it'll cause us to do real estate a little different than we probably have the first half of 2021, which was different than what we did it the first half of 2020, and different things. So
yeah, I mean, things will adapt, right? But
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Just when you think it's all behind you, it comes back.
Well, and then this time in a different way, I guess, right? So now it's all right, now you got to get another shot or whatever, and we shall see. The
scariest part is that there's no vaccine or anything approved for kids yet, right? And this Delta variant is like killing kids, which as a dad, it's some scary shit.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled that it's picking up pace. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, here in the South, when you talk about kids, they start school earlier here in the South. So in Michigan, school doesn't start until early September generally. So we kind of had that mindset of like, okay, they'll have the summer to figure it out. But down here, I mean, they start school, mid-August, that in like 2 weeks almost. So 2 to 3 weeks. So, they need to figure something out quickly.
Yeah, right in the middle of, all this starting again. And, I'm interested to see what people say, I mean, I think there's a lot of people, like me included, like, I mean, granted, we have to, right? But like, man, I did not, like, as soon as I was able to like walk into the store without a mask on, I was like, yes. Yeah. Especially when I wear glasses, man. I don't know. Do you wear glasses all the time?
It was definitely hard.
Yeah. Like, it's tough stuff. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if people, kind of abide by that, right? And say, I'll put them back on, or I won't. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's how much that's going to affect everything.
Yeah, I mean, and then also too, if you're honest about it, if we knew what we had to do, whether we wanted to or not, and to hopefully maybe avoid something like this, and here we are. So
yeah, no,
we failed.
Good point. I mean, I just wish they just, because this was kind of nice, and we talk about this a lot. It's like, man, I kind of liked those like 2 or 3 weeks where no one that you had known had COVID. I was afraid, like, all of a sudden one day I was like, boom, in the hospital, my lungs would stop working. You know what I mean? Like, in a matter of days. And everyone genuinely was like, I'm not going outside. I'm not doing anything, like a true lockdown. If everyone did that for 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, like, it would, significantly actually stop the spread of things. But like you said, I mean, what we know will work and what people will actually do is two things.
Yes.
So,
sometimes we as humans are our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
Most times. Yeah, most times.
We shall see.
Most of the time, all the time.
Yeah.
Tell me about your shirt, because
rapper, athlete, entrepreneur. Yeah, it's funny because I found this. I got it on Amazon, and I'm a real estate agent, but I really do consider myself an entrepreneur. And sometimes there's misconceptions as a tall black man that they think you're an athlete. And despite my 6'2" stature, I have no jumps. And and despite how my voice sounds, I can't spit any lines or anything. So, but yeah, no, so I'm none of those things. I'm just an entrepreneur, and I try to find opportunity everywhere. So yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I didn't know if those were like things you had accomplished and crossed off the list first or something. I'm like, damn, just toppled those, huh? But
those are all things I've tried and failed at. So
well, I could say the same thing. I can't throw a ball. I mean, not mind you, I don't think people look at me and think I'm either of those. But I've had my days trying to rap after a few gins. But that won't happen for me. What about you, Brad?
Yeah.
No.
Brad's kind of an athlete. You're a wrestler, right?
Yeah, well, I used to be 15 years ago, but I'm not so much athletic anymore.
Yeah, things.
I mean, I played
things changed a little bit over a few years, but
I played tennis in high school and ran track, middle school and early high school too. So, but I don't like running now anymore. So
no, running's tough, man.
Yeah, running sucks.
Especially probably down there
walking,
dude. I've taken full advantage, I would say, of being able to travel, right? And I feel like this year I've been kind of all over the country. It's been a lot of fun, but man, it is hot.
What's been your favorite place you've been to so far this year, or I want to go to?
I would say Charleston. I went to Charleston, and man, that is a cool town. Great food. It was hot, but you're kind of out there, right on the water. But I mean, it's a cool town. I don't know where to next, but we'll see. It sounds like we might kind of be locked down again here soon. So glad I did what I did. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, not Charleston. I went to Savannah back in May though.
Yeah, pretty similar. Savannah's a cool town too.
Yeah. It was it was beautiful. We went to the ocean. It's either you go there or down to the panhandle of Florida in Destin, which actually where I have my family at, which was another reason why I moved to this area. But and great food and everything. But I couldn't live there though.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of like, I wouldn't, I couldn't live there either. It was fun, but their places are fun to visit. Have you thought about getting your license anywhere else?
I actually tried Florida, and that's not easy. And I've come to the conclusion that Florida is just not for me as far as getting my license there. So I'll just kind of connect with a couple of referral agents or something there. But it's a whole different ball game.
For sure. I mean, it's funny, especially with Michigan, you always got that Florida connection with the snowbirds or whatever, right? Or now a lot younger, people are moving down there as well. But it's always interesting to kind of see like which areas in the country, and this changes all the time, right? But what areas in the country are drawing people there, right? Like, I mean, I know like Colorado had massive amounts of growth with building and whatnot. And you just mentioned, with Atlanta, with all the industry going on there. So cool to see, the different pockets, because we always talk locally. But
well, it's also interesting too. Like when you talk about Florida and that Michigan-Florida connection, it seems like about half the real estate agents that I know or either follow on social media went to Florida this winter. So I'm kind of like, I'm just going to a place where there's a lot more agents from where I just came from. So is there really going to be business for me? Like it
Well, I
Seems
guess
like every
if
pet,
you're
everyone
seeing that,
packed
right,
up.
it's too late.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy right now. And one thing I always love about Atlanta, right? Like they got that giant. I mean, it's Delta's headquarters, right? Speaking
oh
of
gosh,
Delta.
yeah. You can get to 80% of the US in under 2 hours from Atlanta on a plane. So
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think it's isn't like the biggest airport in the world or something like that, or the most
biggest
people.
I think at least in the US, it's usually one of the top 5, kind of depending on where you're at. Yeah, and what you're talking about as far as volume of money or so on and so forth. But it's
the busiest airport.
Yeah.
They say, like,
my favorite thing about living here now is I don't have to go through Atlanta as a layover anymore. I can just either get in or out, and that was always the first. If you have to return a rental car and then get on the train and go all the way across and all that. Yeah. So
you're not really getting in or out of that airport easily. The traffic is crazy in Atlanta.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'd rather have a layover than have to drive out of that place, man. It's nuts.
Yeah. So what would you say is like your next goal, right? Like you moved down there, you're having some success in Georgia, right?
Yes.
And you still have your network up here and have a lot of good referral agents. What are you thinking is next for you?
I was asked recently kind of where, a year from now, like, what would it look like and everything. And, it's twofold. One, as far as my own personal business and brand, if you will, looking for other various opportunities. Like I said, it's not just about buying and selling real estate for my clients and everything, but how can I expand my own portfolio and kind of partner with some investors and things like that. And then, locally here, with my partner Chauncey and I, we want to look back a year from now, July 2022, and be excited and proud of how far we've come. And it's not about, hitting a specific volume goal or having a certain amount of agents, recruited or in the, in the brokerage or whatever, but it's doing real estate on our own terms, the way that we want to do it, and creating the conversations around us. A lot of times you'll kind of walk in a room with agents or whoever, and everyone's kind of having the same conversation. But, we really want to let people know that we're doing things differently and that we're proud of what we're doing, and then get married at some point. My fiance and we got engaged in December and last December, and we were planning the wedding for a little bit, and then that got stressful. And then, then it was like, okay, let's just get back to enjoying being engaged. And then, so we'll pick that back up sometime soon too.
Just go to the courthouse.
I'm engaged right now.
Save all the money and all the craziness.
I'm not quite there. I'm not quite there
to the courthouse, man. It's not worth the stress and all the money to pay for a bunch of other people to show up for an hour to watch you say some words. Just go to the courthouse and get it over with.
That is kind of, on one side of the fence how I feel, but getting married, man, it's not about you anymore. You gotta make the other side happy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's about it's what's funny is I'm probably the one that's not ready to pull the trigger on like going to the courthouse and everything. I'm the one, and family too. I have a very close and supportive family, and and I respect that they have for my relationship, not to just, on a Tuesday go to the courthouse and then tell everybody, through FaceTime that, hey, we got engaged, we got married or something like that. But we're trying to build something here. She's a personal trainer. She does things locally and virtually. So she's expanding and growing her business. I'm doing mine and other opportunities as well. So it's a lot to move to a new city and then try to start and grow your business at that same time, then trying to plan a wedding and all of that stuff and the logistics behind that.
Pretty much a nightmare,
That sounds terrible.
What do you think
each of those things individually can be a nightmare, but
yeah. But Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, lots of stuff going on, exciting time, weird times, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
a good opportunity, I think, to, kind of rise to the top, right? I mean,
yes, yeah. That's what
nothing.
this last year has proven to a lot of real estate agents and people in the industry.
Yeah, but I think you touched on a good point too, right? Like real estate and being involved with real estate and being surrounded by real estate isn't just meeting with buyers and sellers and selling homes or listing homes or whatever, right? It's you have a lot of opportunities, right? With partners, with people you meet, maybe with clients who say, you know what, let's build a little, let's start an LLC and, you'll kick all your commissions in plus a little bit. They provide some money up front, whatever it is, right? And you build a portfolio of homes. And I mean, there's a ton of different ways to do real estate and be involved in real estate, whether it's commercial, residential, leasing, and, you're immersed in that. And I think a lot of people, for good reasons, sometimes I think people are always looking for the shiny objects and they never get there. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good for people to say, you know what, man, you're really good at selling and buying homes. Give your money to someone to invest it for you. Right. But then there's a lot of people who I think start with that and end up being property flippers or builders or whatever it is. Right. And it's a continuing journey. Right. Like,
absolutely.
So
it's not only even about like building a portfolio of homes or investments or whatever, but think about all the different aspects that are involved in real estate, right? Like, you could dabble in a staging company, right, or a cleaning company for listings, or a photography business, or all these little side things that people don't think about that are very important to buying and selling homes. There's a lot of opportunity in some of those, because a lot of people, like, nobody wakes up and is like, I think I want to clean houses for a real estate agent that's going to list. Like, nobody thinks like that, right?
Yeah.
So,
but if you present someone who, and what's cool is too, you can really change a lot of people's lives, right?
Yeah.
You might find someone who's, cleaning offices or something like that, and you could say, hey, I got a gig for you. We could partner up and you could do all this for me, right? Or for yourself per se, and start your own business and maybe hire people beneath you, right? Which, is cool.
Sure.
It's cool to build a company and help people out. And, we get to see it every day. And in our business, when, we take someone who might have been on a path that wasn't bad, or maybe it was bad, and hopefully, right, with the tools that we try to provide, help them build something for themselves, like, and I think you hear this all the time. If someone leaves us, it's the best thing ever, because, they did it on their own, right? And they built their own business, which, in the back of my head is true, right? But I want to build a place where people don't want to leave, right? Where it's kind of like, we take all the BS off your plate, go out there and do what you want to do, right? Get after it. Because as you know, probably, there's a lot of BS in this business too. Lots of
there is. Yes. And the thing about being in real estate, whether it be mortgages or as an agent or whatnot, there's times when we're super busy, whether it be times of day or times of seasons or whatnot, but there's a lot of free time that we have, and a lot of, and I won't even necessarily just say free time, but flexible time, so because of that, it's allowed me to take advantage of other opportunities, whether they're in real estate specific or things that are not real estate specific, and that either have a low overhead or something.
Yeah, even if that opportunity is to work on yourself, right? Like, this morning I did stuff around the house because I had a clear schedule, and it was like, nice. It makes me feel fulfilled, like I did something today already, versus sitting at a computer, spinning your mouse around looking at stupid shit on Google because you're punching a clock and you have nothing to do. And I mean, nothing against corporate America, but there's a lot of inefficiencies and wasted time that,
lots of wasted time.
I remember sitting there and, listen, this man's built an amazing company, Matt Ishbia, right, with United Wholesale Mortgage. But like, sometimes I just make my calls and have nothing to do, and I could call, but I'm almost like the person where you're sitting down at a restaurant and it's like, no, dude, I don't want any more fucking coffee. Like, I've had enough coffee. You don't need to come and ask me if I need coffee anymore. And especially when they just spill it into your pre-mixed cup of coffee. Like, well, it topped you off. Well, now I got it. Now do you have more cream and sugar? Like it's a nightmare, right? So for me, like sitting there,
you feel triggered. You sound like you're triggered now.
Tells so much about Sal.
But I've also been on the other side where I've had, when I worked at a restaurant, and I remember I was a busboy, and they're like, "Go ask if they need coffee." I just asked if they need coffee. They don't need fucking coffee. They just had enough coffee to be good, and it's like 8 p.m. They're good, and same thing, like when I'm sitting there in front of a Salesforce and it's like, well, did you make the calls? I'm like, yeah, I called them twice a day. Like, I'm not calling that person again. So you're sitting there and there's all these, it's like, man, I could be at home, doing something I need to do. And that's what I think I love about this business, or working for yourself is you can make a schedule that works. I can choose on a Saturday to, hit pause on the movie or whatever it is I'm watching, sit down, write a pre-approval, talk to a client, do what it is, and then go right back to it. And there's no wasted time. There's no inefficiency. And, as long as you as a, entrepreneur, individual, whatever, as business owner, make sure you take the time to get things that need to be done and you have your hours or schedule, whatever it is that's prospecting, right? Or your method. Who's stopping you, right? And who's telling you to, because I remember when I was at UWM sitting there after I called through my Salesforce, Matt came up to me and I was on ADP twirling around clock out. And he was like, "What are you doing, dude?" I'm like, and I felt like such an idiot. But the reality is now, I don't got anything to do, man. I should have left an hour ago. I'm just sitting here, wasting your guys' time, wasting the whatever energy it is to run this computer. I'll be back tomorrow and be able to do more stuff. But, I think that's what corporate America, and it's hard. It's hard to manage that many people and be able to trust them to be constructive all the time. But I think that's part of what's kind of cool with this pandemic, with people being able to work at home. For example, my buddies at GM, it's like, hey, man, this project needs to be done by this date. Get it done. Right? Yeah. Not sit in the office and eat Cheetos and fuck around all day because you got nothing else to do, right? I mean, that's just part of what I feel like what's happened. And hopefully, that I think that will allow, employers to pay people more money. Yeah. And
I think also at the end of the day, whether you're corporate America or entrepreneur or work for yourself or whatnot, it's important that whatever you are doing, it's fulfilling you. You feel fulfilled. And I think that's one of the things I'm very fortunate about, no matter how much money I make at any given time or whatnot. But I'm at a point in my life where everything I'm doing, I'm choosing and it's fulfilling me, whether I'm as a real estate agent in Michigan and in Georgia, I'm a part of these, the association, the Atlanta Association of Realtors here. And I'm on the diversity and inclusion committee there, or, with them. And so being able to have those conversations, and that's fulfilling, whether I'm serving at my church, whether I'm volunteering or whatever, in the relationships that I have. At the end of the day, what I consider success is, at the end of the day, am I satisfied with what I did? Some days I'm not. But most of the time I am, because I was able to choose what I wanted to do, and for the most part, how I did it. And I had that even in corporate America too. I was, like I said, when I was at Auto Week magazine, I had moved back from LA, and then a few months later, I was working remote with my job in LA and Detroit. But I wanted to work for Auto Week, and I said, this will bring my automotive career full circle, because I read the magazine when I was growing up. My dad subscribed to it, and Dutch Mando, who was the publisher at the time, I'm like, I would watch videos that he did. I like, to be in the room with an icon and somebody that I respected so much. If I have this opportunity, I have to take it. And in the 2 years or so that I was there, it was fulfilling, and it was a job that I enjoyed. But even though I enjoyed that, I also wanted something else and something different. And that's what I also, like I said, these last 4 or 5 years, try to, continue to be able to do, making sure I'm fulfilled in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss on that, right?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Like, if you can go, and to your point earlier, when we were talking about your goals, right? It's not like, yeah, we want this many agents and closing this much and making this much money. It's, you want to look back and feel like we did good. Like I don't think about the numbers at all any day. And it's funny what's actually great, like, given that we're the owners or whatever of Omega Lending, right? Like I don't get paid a commission. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't make any more money than any more of my partners. And but we're all in it together building something that's really cool every day. Right. And whether, I do more business or someone else does more business or whatever it is, right? Like we all just kind of rely on each other for the other things that, comes with making this business. So I don't look and say, next year we want to do 200 million. Right. It's just, do we feel good about where we're going? Do we feel like we're on the right path? Do we feel like there's a future? Because if you can believe in a future in what you're doing, that will continue to make you want to do it. If your dead end, your job is dead end, but you're making good money. I mean, how sustainable is that, right? Like
how depressing is that? Like,
I've got people who are calling me. They're like, you're making way too little money. You should come work with us. And I'm like, man, I could, but then I got to work for your boss, and he's a prick.
Absolutely.
So no,
he's
a lot of prick. I had a conversation with somebody last week, and I specifically asked them. I said, "Do you believe in what they're doing?" And I asked them. I said, whether you're partnering with somebody or whatnot, do you believe in the goals that they have or what they're trying to achieve? And if you don't, then it's not going to work. You can try to talk yourself into maybe trying to pretend that you believe in it, but you won't be fulfilled or anything like that. In my career in real estate, maybe with the exception of the first year, because like I needed money, but like you said, I never really looked at, I need to, I want to make, this amount of million per year and this and that, and flaunt it and say, I sold this many million through the first half or last year. Whether you sold 10, 20 million or 1 million, that doesn't resonate with a buyer. Like they don't know what that means. It's how are you making them feel? And those years that I was really in tune with my business and with my referral clients that came to me and the friends that I work with and the family members and all those people that got no's before they got to me to get a yes. Those were the years that I felt most successful and most fulfilled in my business. And because of that, that's when I started to win, 100% with, ReMax Southeast Michigan. That's when I became a Real Producers Best in Class. That's when I was able to be in Oakland Press and Macomb Daily and talk to people. And I have a responsibility to pass some value on to somebody. Because one, if you're my client, that's my fiduciary duty. But there are so many other people who are not at a point yet to be able to get to me or work with me. So let me pass a little information to you to hopefully get you in a better position so that we can talk and we can work together. And that's been successful to me. And I've done some of those things in the years that I made the least amount in real estate. It's just, what is that value that I'm adding to people?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think like, it's funny, right? Like if you were to go to Mount Everest and someone teleported you to the top, I mean, that'd be sweet, right? You'd be up there, you'd probably instantly die. But like, you'd be looking out and be like, wow, what a view, man. That's cool. Like, all right, let's bounce, right? But like it's the climb up there, right? It's the experience. It's everything that you learn along the way. Like that really makes you feel like, man, I earned this. If I got teleported to the top of Mount Everest right now and took all these pictures, like, how much disrespect that'd be to the people who, died climbing up it. You know what I mean? It's like, and it sounds so cliche, but it's the climb, right? That really is the journey that business, I think, is all about. That's why, people go nuts and, die when they win the lottery. Like they don't know what it's like to starve. Well, maybe they do, right? But they don't know what it's like to grind like that. So I think it's good, man. And you have good intentions as a human, and those rub off in your business, right? or potentially are the foundation of your business, right? So all of that is, people see that when they talk to you, right? People know when they talk to you, whether they're like a number or a person. And I think like at the end of the day, as long as you like, I don't know, for me all the time, like when I talk to someone, it's like, dude, you can work with whoever you want, right? I'm going to help you and teach you if you want to learn. If all you care about is the numbers, like I'm not your dude, and at the end of the day, like, I built a nice network for myself by helping people and explaining them how a mortgage works. And, like you said, there's a lot of people who you can't even help right now, right? But you're going to put them in a position to get to you at some point. So I think having those pieces are vital to building a network where people are going to say, yeah, you know what, this guy helped me out. So instead of going with this realtor or whatever, who's going to cut me a deal, or my aunt or whatever, I'm going to call Willie back. Yeah. Right? So exactly. It's good stuff.
We're being played off. Natalia, our producer in the background, is yelling at us to wrap up. I
didn't see that, man. I'm on full screen, but all right.
Time for 3 questions. We do it with on every show with every guest. We make them up at the top of our head. The first one we generally try to ask everyone that comes on for the first time. So, what scares Willie J. Davis?
Oh gosh, what scares me? It's something that's not business wise. Heights.
Scared of heights.
Yes. I fly a lot, but I hate heights. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I get a little, weak-kneed when I'm like even in like a stadium, I get like vertigo when I look up. It's like weird, Yeah. But anyways, if you could go back to any moment in time and be a fly on the wall, like any specific moment in time, right? For a moment in history, what would you go to? It could be,
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Gosh. Goodness. That's to be a fly on the wall.
Anywhere at any moment in time. It could be like watching the dinosaurs die, or
Yeah, I know.
I'll watch that. Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Probably. Shit. It's funny because I keep going back to like the Declaration of Independence, even though Black people weren't independent at the time. But let's hear that conversation.
Yeah, it would be interesting, right? Like, right? Like,
let's hear that conversation.
No, like that'd be fucked up, right? But they're like murals everywhere and on every coin. All right. You got a third one for him?
If you could be any animal in the animal kingdom, what would you be? Or insect, I guess.
Yeah, any animal.
I don't know who'd want to be an insect, but
probably giraffe. I love giraffe. I'm already tall. And everybody likes giraffes.
Everybody likes a giraffe.
They do. And everyone likes me. Even if they don't think they do. They do.
I mean, yeah, you can't really hate a giraffe,
No, you can't.
You can't.
Nobody can.
It's actually my favorite at the zoo, too. So, yeah.
They're crazy. They're like, modern dinosaurs. Well, well, that was cool, man. It was good. I know we've talked before and whatnot, just at events, but it was cool really getting to know you and more about what you do. So we definitely appreciate
it's been fun
having you on the show. What's the best way someone can get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on Instagram or Facebook at Willie Davis Realtor, or my email is wdavis@williejproperties.com.
All right.
So my phone number is 586-899-7644.
Love it, man. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show, chatting with us. We wish Paul was here. He always makes it a little more interesting, but some good conversation.
I'll just have to do it again. I'll be in Michigan in a couple of weeks, so who knows?
There you go.
Love it, man. Yeah, we'll definitely have you back on. So appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for watching the show, and we will see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
You've been listening to Inside Real Estate. the nation's top real estate podcast. Don't forget to follow us at irepodcast.com and everywhere where podcasts are available.